Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about installing your engine seal and some tips on preventing your motor from overheating. Let's get to it. Guys, it never fails. Like clockwork, when summer rolls around, people are always telling me that their engines are overheating, their cars are getting hot, and their performance is dropping. Now, I've done several articles before on heat and when it comes to performance in your Beetles, but one of the most crucial things you must have in your engine compartment is your engine seal. I did a video on this years ago, but what I want to do is show you exactly how this needs to go in. This is a 2-flap seal, and this is common for the early bugs, 67 and earlier bugs. 68 and later, it went more like a tubular type of a seal, but kind of installed the same way. Now, ideally, getting these seals in, of course, it's much easier with the engine out of the car. You know, as you can see, it goes into a channel, okay, right along here. Okay, now it's a U-shaped seal, so you can buy it at any VW parts store or anything like that. They all pretty much have these seals. Again, it's the 2-flap seal. So what its 2-flap means is you have one of the flaps that stays above the tin, and the other one that goes below the tin. Okay. Now, this is they sell two types of seals. They probably have a German seal and a Brazilian seal. I really haven't seen much difference between the two. The Brazilian seal seems a little bit harder than the German seal is a little softer. So, but as you can see here, there's a flat portion of the seal right here, and of course, this is the section that goes into the channel in the body, on the body of the car, and I'll show you that. Most people will tell you when you get the seal, just lubricate it and then you could start pushing it in through the channel. Okay, you can see the channels right here. Okay, and like I said, that flat part of the seal goes into this channel. Many times, yeah, you could probably spray some silicone in there, spray some silicone on the seal, and as you can see here, there's a cut in the channel right here, so you could try to start the seal there and push it through till it gets over here, and then, you know, of course, you got to put it around the rear section of the car and along to the other side. It's not always that easy. A lot of times these channels they might have some surface rust in there. There might be some particles in there. There might be things that are hindering the slide of the seal going in. Yeah, that might have worked fine, you know, back in the day with the factory, but sometimes it's a little more difficult. So what I usually do is I like to put either the top or the bottom lip of the seal in the channel. Okay. And then usually I can press it in with my fingers and catch it. Okay. If you can't press it in with your fingers, you can get like a putty blade or something, or a screwdriver, and, you know, a flathead screwdriver, and start pressing it in. That's usually what I do all the way around. It seems to work okay. A lot of times you might have to open up the channel a little bit more in here with the screwdriver. You know, just open it just a little bit, get a pair of pliers, open it a little bit, and just go all along the channel. And, you know, of course, try not to you know, chip the paint. So that's usually what I do, is I either put it in the top or the bottom part of the lip, and I'm able to get in there. If you don't have a lift, of course, you know, it's going to be easier putting the bottom part of the seal into the bottom part of the channel, just because then you can press it from up here. A lot of times I have the car up on the lift. I can start the channel, I can start the seal on the top part and then press it in from the bottom, you know, if you want to get underneath. Having the engine seal in the car is crucial, and I mean crucial, to keeping heat out of your engine compartment. Anytime you are missing the seal, and I see it all the time, whether these seals have dry rotted or deteriorated, and there's a nice sized gap between the seal, and I'll show you over here, this front, the breastplate tin. That seal rides here and needs to cover and seal all of this all the way around. And many times that seal is missing, so now you have a gap. So what's happening? You have your muffler right here that's emitting heat. The heat's coming up into the engine compartment, getting trapped in there, and causing your motor to overheat. And a lot of times it doesn't take very long for your motor to start to overheat. It could be 15-20 minutes and your motor's starting to overheat and you're losing power. You can't get above 30-40 miles an hour. You shut the car off, let it cool down, it'll start right up again. You'll be able to drive for another 15-20 minutes, and you go through the whole process all over again. A lot of times I'll see, you might have the engine seal there or not, but I see cars and I see Beetles missing this tin. Now, if you're missing this tin, now you got a huge gap missing out of the engine compartment. You know, VW did everything for a reason, and all your pieces need to be in place. So many times, if you don't have this tin, which I see it constantly, and people don't think anything of it, oh, don't worry about the tin, that's not going to do nothing, but it does. And if you're missing any part of the tins at all in your engine compartment, you jeopardize overheating your motor. Now, these are tins that we are restoring for a 58 Beetle that you see right over here. That's why the motor's out of the car. We're rebuilding the motor, and of course we sandblast our tins, clean them up, get any sort of mud or gunk and grease off of them. We either repaint them or send them out to be powder coated. These we actually repainted. And as you can see, there are a bunch of tins. There are a bunch of little pieces. You know, pieces like this. You got a back tin here that goes over the bell housing, over the transmission, and of course here's that front tin. Okay, you got also this pulley tin. I've seen this missing that sits behind the crank pulley. You know, so there's a lot of little different pieces that you need to make sure you have in place in your engine compartment in order for it to seal out any heat coming from that muffler. Now, here's a motor compartment that's been all sealed up and put together. And as we get closer, you'll see I got my tins in place, and I got my flap seal. The one part of it is up above the tin, and the other half is below. So you got to make sure you have this seal in place. Now, what if you're missing the seal, and you already got the motor in the car? I know it's a little more difficult to get that seal in, but what you can do is, you got some front screws here, these cheesehead screws they're called, okay, over in the corner there too. Take those screws out. You can take out this front tin, and then when you take that out, you'll have access at least to the seal in the front. You can possibly get in pretty well, and if you do have some sort of a gap around back on the sides by the cylinder tins, you might be able to slide it through. Just as long as you seal that portion, you know, you should be okay. But again, it's a lot easier with the motor out of the car. Now, here's a late model seal that you can see here. Like I said, it's kind of tubular. It folds instead of having two flaps. One of the crucial things is, what I tell everybody is, I don't want to see the ground through your engine compartment. So like I see here, I'm able to see right through between where the seal is and where this tin is. This should all be sealed. Anytime you have a gap, you're going to have heat that rises from the muffler, and you can overheat this motor. Okay, so that's that quick tip for you today. It's very crucial to have your engine seals in the car, in the back, and all your engine tins in place. Like I said, it's like clockwork. Every summer people email me and say, Chris, I'm getting in my bug and the car is overheating. I go 15-20 minutes. I can't even go above 30 miles an hour and it's dogging. And I shut it off. I'm able to turn it back on 15-20 minutes later and off I go. But it's the same cyclical process. You got to have those seals in the back, and most of the time that's the reason why your engine is overheating. I have another article on my website in regards to vapor lock and heat and the gas today and the alcohol that's in our gas today that can also contribute to your overheating issues. Check that article out. It's in my resto tips section, and that's it. If you guys have any questions, email me, chris@classicvwbugs.com, or you can visit my website, www.classicvwbugs.com. Take care.